One of the most important technical decisions you're going to make is choosing the right tech stack. Your tech stack is the combination of tools, programming languages, frameworks, and platforms used to build your product. And this decision isn't just about what sounds modern or cool. It impacts everything from your team's ability to ship quickly, to scalability, to developer hiring, and even long-term maintenance. In this video, we're going to break down what a tech stack really is, how to think about your decision-making process based on your product's needs, and we'll walk through real-world examples of tech stacks used by companies you already know. We'll also give you clear recommendations for mobile apps, web platforms, back-end infrastructure, databases, and third-party integrations. And so by the end of this, you'll not only know what stack to choose, you'll also know why it's the best choice for your specific vision. So first, what is a tech stack exactly? Let's break it down into core layers. At the very top, you have the front end. This is the interface your users interact with. For mobile, this could mean iOS or Android. For web, this usually means HTML, CSS, and JavaScript-based frameworks like React, Vue, or Angular like you saw previously in your other lessons. Next, you have the back end. This is the behind-the-scenes logic, servers, APIs, databases, user authentication, and pretty much everything else that makes your app work. This is where languages like Node.js, Python, Ruby, Go, Java, or PHP come in. Then you have the database layer, where all your data is stored, like user accounts, messages, transactions, or settings. Think MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, Firebase, or Supabase. And then there's the cloud infrastructure, which includes where your app is hosted and how it scales with platforms like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, Versal, or Heroku. So then after that, there are your development tools like GitHub for version control, CI/CD pipelines, Postman for testing APIs, and monitoring tools like Sentry or Datadog. Finally, you have third-party APIs and services like Stripe for payments, Twilio for messaging, and Firebase for push notifications, or Auth0 for user login. So now that we understand the structure, let's talk about real tech stack combinations that are high performance and founder-friendly. For mobile-first apps, one of the most popular and efficient tech stacks today is Flutter and Firebase put together. Flutter is developed by Google, which allows you to write one code base and deploy to both iOS and Android, which saves time and money. Firebase handles your backend, so the real-time database, hosting, authentication, and push notifications, without you needing to set up your own servers. That's a good thing. This stack is ideal for MVPs, consumer apps, and small teams without a full-time backend engineer. Apps like Google Ads, Reflectly, and Nubank all use Flutter in production. So if your app is visually dynamic, needs fast iteration, and doesn't yet require custom backend scaling logic, this is a great starting stack. Now, if you're building a web-first platform with a powerful dashboard or admin portal, a killer stack would be React for the front end, Node.js with Express on the back end, and PostgreSQL or MongoDB as the database. This stack is commonly referred to as MERN stack, MongoDB, Express, React, Node, or a variant of it like PERN when you swap MongoDB for PostgreSQL. This is extremely flexible and it's battle tested. It's used by companies like Netflix, Uber, and even LinkedIn. What makes React special is the component-based architecture and a vast ecosystem of UI libraries. And Node.js lets you write JavaScript on both front-end and back-end, which simplifies hiring and knowledge sharing across your team. Let's say you're creating a high-scale B2B SaaS product. Then you may want to explore a more scalable backend like Python with Django or Flask, or even Golang if performance under heavy traffic is a concern. Stripe, one of the most trusted payment processors in the world, is built on Ruby and Rails, but they use Go internally for high-performance APIs. Python is also great for machine learning and data-heavy applications, which is why Instagram and Dropbox both started with Django. Now, let's look at real-world tech stacks from companies you use every day. Facebook uses React extensively because they built it, and their backend was originally in PHP, but they've since transitioned much of it to Hack, a language that they developed internally for themselves. Airbnb uses a mix of Ruby on Rails, React, and GraphQL. X uses Scala for backend performance and reliability. Slack was originally built on Electron using Node.js with a lot of real-time functionality managed by WebSockets. Shopify is primarily built on Ruby on Rails, which proves that even traditional stacks can still scale massively when done right. By the way, if Shopify is built on Ruby on Rails, that means every single website stemming from Shopify is built with what? Ruby on Rails. That is correct. So if your app is going to integrate with hardware like Bluetooth devices or IoT products, of course you can always use hybrid apps like React and Flutter frameworks, but in general, your stack becomes very important for mobile. You'll often want to build natively with Swift or iOS and Kotlin for Android, or use Flutter with native plugins if time to market is a priority. Your backend might include an MQTT broker for low latency communication, and you might want to use tools like AWS IoT or Azure IoT Hub to handle device management and, of course, security. So if your app is content heavy or social like Instagram or TikTok, you need a stack that supports real-time feeds, fast loading, and CDN optimization. For front-end, Flutter or React Native work pretty well. For backend, Node.js or Go for fast data handling. Use Firebase for Firestore or Supabase for real-time data syncing. Cloudinary or AWS S3 should be used for image and video storage. So if you plan to include messaging or push notifications, look at integrating OneSignal, Twilio, or Firebase Cloud Messaging. And now let's talk about progressive web apps or PWAs. If you want your app to be installed from the browser, accessible offline, and fast loading, a combination of React and Next.js and Firebase or Supabase can be extremely powerful. Next.js gives you server-side rendering, fast performance, and great SEO. Firebase lets you deploy without managing backend infrastructure. And of course, Supabase gives you an open source Postgres-powered alternative. This stack is used by companies like Hashnode and even by parts of Notion for faster feature deployment. Now, a quick word of scalability and team scaling. If you're just getting started and building a prototype or MVP, you should lean towards low-code or no-code platforms only if your idea is non-technical or temporary. Otherwise, use scalable, developer-friendly stacks that allow you to grow over time. Startups that go from 0 to 1 million users fast, like Clubhouse, for instance, often need to refactor their stack within 6 months if they choose too many shortcuts early on. Don't over-engineer, but also don't underbuild. Use things like AWS Amplify or Versal if you want performance with minimal configuration. Tools like Docker and Kubernetes are great for DevOps, but you don't need one, especially in the phase 1. You want to just already get started building it. And so now, let's walk through 3 phases of development and the ideal tech stack for each. In phase 1, for your MVP and pre-launch prototype, you want to ship fast. So go with Flutter stacked with Firebase for mobile or React stacked with Supabase for web. You don't need custom microservices yet. In phase 2, once you've validated demand, onboarded beta users, and started collecting data, you can start moving toward a modular backend, maybe set up Express.js and PostgreSQL, or introduce Prisma ORM for cleaner database logic. In phase 3, post-launch and scaling, you can implement Redis for caching, Dockerize your services, and run microservices on AWS ECS or Google Cloud Run. This is when you bring in CI/CD pipelines, robust analytics, and monitoring layering like Datadog or Sentry. I know that was a lot of jargon. And so in general, between each phase that you get in, you want to make sure that you are building within that phase the stack that is going to work best for you at that moment. What's good is that you're going to be working with developers and with people that are a little bit more tech savvy than you. And so you don't need to understand completely everything about the tech stack. You just need to know what is what and how it's technically built. So like this, you can then converse better with your developers and understand what is their process when building your app. And now before we wrap up, here's a quick list of common stack pairings for different types of apps. For a marketplace app, React Native or Flutter for mobile, Node.js for backend, PostgreSQL for Stripe, Twilio, and AWS. That's all for an e-commerce. For a fitness or meditation app, Flutter, Firebase, OneSignal for notifications, and Stripe for subscriptions. For a social app, React Native, Firebase, or Supabase, Cloudinary, and a CDN like Cloudflare should be a good place to start. For a SaaS web app, React or Next.js, Node.js with Express, PostgreSQL or MongoDB, and an Auth0 for user authentication. And lastly, for an IoT connected app, native mobile, and when I say IoT connected, that means Bluetooth or connecting with hardware. It is always preferable to go native, meaning like we talked about, iOS, Swift, or Kotlin for Android, but you can use hybrids. It's just that there might be a little bit more complexity in building that out, since IoT devices usually will have one set of rules, and having hybrids use them is difficult since we have to then adapt it for different devices. And so if you have a Bluetooth device on a Google phone, or I would say if you have a Bluetooth device that's supposed to connect to an Android, is at least 20 different types of Android phones out there. And there's the Google phone, there's the Pixel, there's all these different types, whereas with Swift and iOS, there's only one. The iOS mainframe is basically the same way that they connect throughout all different areas when it comes to Bluetooth connection. But that is getting a little bit too specific into Bluetooth. So ultimately, choosing your tech stack comes down to product goals, budget, and developer availability, and of course, your long-term vision. Don't just ask, what's the best tech stack? Ask, what's the best tech stack for my app, my team, and my next 12 months. So if you're working with an agency or hiring developers, make sure they align with your chosen stack and document everything clearly so you can scale your team later. Your tech stack is the foundation of your product. So get this decision right early on, and you'll move faster, pivot smarter, and be ready to grow without hitting technical walls. So now, let's take a look at the worksheet, App MVP Bootcamp Technical Architecture document in your module, and begin outlining the ideal stack for your specific app based on your launch phase, platform needs, and budget.
Hey guys, I'm basically going to be giving you, I would say, a little pointer when it comes to your tech stack and how to actually define it in a really cool, fast, and efficient way. So right now, I'm going to have you put this prompt into ChatGPT. So like this, you can create your perfect prompt in order to then build your perfect app architecture. And so right now, let's say I wanted to create a mobile app to help everyday people and lawyers understand and bring into more layman terms all the new laws and restrictions that are voted upon by our legislatures in an easy to use interface that has a paid subscription. Okay, so it is creating that prompt for us. The scope of law, are you focused on U.S. federal laws only, state level legislation, or global laws? So I want to focus on both of these. We want to focus on both. Oh, and obviously you have to respond to these questions correctly. Update frequency. Should the app automatically update with newly passed legislation? Yes. If so, what sources or APIs? So, yes. And any resources online via the government websites that are publicly available. Target audience. Is the app primarily for legal professionals needing quick summaries, or for the general public needing simplified civic education, or a balance of both? Balance of both, with the possibility of going into detail based on certain questions/cases. Legal reviews and summarize. Will content be generated via AI, curated by a legal team, or both? The content will be taken from the documents and laws that are published, but will be written by AI for simplified viewing. Platform goals. Is this app going to launch for iOS, Android, or both? Both. And web. 6. Unique value proposition. What sets this app apart from legacy ballotpedia or local government alert systems? This system will be used to dumb down the actual legislation that's being passed by simplifying the actual rules and terms of the laws being passed so that a young adult with no knowledge of the law understand what are the correlations and after effects of the law or legislation. 7. Subscription model. Are you considering a freemium model? Yes. Freemium up until a certain number of searches per day. Follow-up questions, deeper refinement. Okay. I always recommend responding to these questions. It'll give you a lot more of a refined prompt so that we can then put this into our next app that's going to really help us. So, search and personalization. Should the app allow users to filter by region? Yes. Notification. Do you want users to get notified when laws that affect their interests change or pass? Yes. Legal depth toggle. Should there be a simple versus detailed toggle per law or different models for different types? Yes. Community or commenting feature. Will users be able to discuss, vote, or comment on laws in app? I don't think it's necessary. It might be a cool feature to have in the future, but for now, let's just say no. Do you want a chatbot or Q&A feature that explains laws or answer legal impact questions? Yes. For general understanding and situational questions. Cool. All right, final revised prompt. Great. Help me define. Oh, goodness. All right. We're going into a lot of detail here. The key user personas and user journeys must have features for MVP versus later roadmap. Oh, my goodness. So I'm going to take these. All right. I'm just going to take this right now. Actually, I'm going to take this whole thing. There you go. And we're going to go into this new software that I'm currently using right now called pre.dev. Just got contacted by them recently in order for me to become their client. And so I found it very interesting and I wanted to share with you guys. So there you go. General blueprint. Let's get it. Okay, you can send this to Chris. All right, let's see what this does. We're waiting. All right, we're back. So I pasted this whole prompt that I created on ChatGPT in this software from pre.dev. And so they say that they're preparing the architecture. Wow, this is something that is pretty darn hard to do. But if this AI comes out with something pretty good, then this could definitely help you in your journey going forward, building out software with a team to help you do it. What's interesting is that this company also has their own developer directory. I wouldn't necessarily use their own directory as our only source of working with developers. Just from experience, this is a fairly new company. I saw that the founder developed this a little over a year ago, so that's not a long track record when it comes to vetting other professionals, but it does seem like a pretty good product to play with. So we're gonna see what it sends to me while it's being done. Alrighty, I received my project link. Let's see what it says. Okay, interesting. Alright, let's see. Okay, so this is user roles. This is the starting node for this architecture. Cool. Everyday user, general public seeking simplified legal information, legal professional, lawyers, paralegals, or legal experts. Okay, cool. That's a good beginning. We have our two different type of personas. Let's click view node. I have to power by AI, click unlock user stories, everyday user. Okay. Paywall to be expected. But okay, let's see if I export graph, download as mermaid. I'm gonna export this to ChatGPT. Hopefully he reads it, because it appears to be written in mermaid.js, a text-based diagramming tool. While I can't render mermaid diagrams directly here, I can convert your app concept into a professional infographic structure. Yeah, that works. Do it. Boom. All right. I'm gonna have it create a little infograph of what it says. But what's good is that it did give me the suggestions of the tech stack here. So, infographic outline simplifying the law, your legal companion app. Cool. Key features, plain language summaries, smart search, filter by, topic, region affected. Okay, freemium model, tech stack suggested. So this is the suggested tech stack. Front-end Flutter, iOS, Android, React Web, back-end Node.js, PostgreSQL, AI layer, OpenAI, API for summarization, embedding. Okay, cool. Scraping, parsing, beautiful soup. Gov API integrations. All right. Notifications, Firebase One Signal. Auth 0, Firebase Auth. Hosting, AWS Versal. Okay. Pretty basic, but it is a good start. Data pipeline, collect, scrape public laws from government law. Okay, yep. Transform AI rewrites laws in plain English. Okay, cool. Publish, display simplified versions in app. Notify, push alerts based on user preferences. Cool. Ah, and here is our image. All right, so it's not too bad. It's a good starting point, I would say, in order to get information. I'm a little disappointed, obviously, because I wanted to use a little bit more of it. Going forward, oh, what is happening? Okay, there it is. So step-by-step visualization, user flow. If I click front end, what does it say? So I guess there's this option of having deep product insights, and obviously here's our budget as well. Okay, even with the budget, it's not necessarily going to change. Okay, I think it's probably going to take a little while again, but all in all, it's not that bad. If I click on SOW, the SOW, generate in-depth plans for your favorite human or AI engineer, unlock. Yeah, okay. So these are all paid features. It's not a bad thing. It's just that I wanted to really use it to see if it's actually worth it for my students going forward. So from what I see, it's still fairly simple with the free version. And what's interesting is that this prompt is actually asking questions. So I would probably have to respond further to get more responses into it. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad tool to have, especially if you don't mind paying a little extra $14 a month or whatever to use it to get a little bit more insight on your project architecture. But yeah, this is not something that is fairly new in a sense, but it is nice, the UI. I like how it's laid out. I'm not sure something happened right now, but there are a couple bugs going forward. In general, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just that there's still some kinks to work on this software, I think. They use it to help you out, figure out your architecture. It could probably give you some insights that ChatGPT alone cannot. And so, have a great day, guys. And yeah, this little demo is over.
And don't forget to use the Frenchy Digital AI Helper. It's basically a developer tool that we built with AI, ChatGPT to be specific, that basically will help you fill out these documents. Use it to the maximum capacity of your knowledge. It will help you go through these documents and basically help you put in the information and also answer some of your questions if you have any when it comes to building your tech stack. So get to it.